Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Booth Podcast, episode 10. Yes, episode 10. And
I think.
this episode is going to be a little bit different because we're not doing the whole reaction today.
It's a new format that we want to try out first.
That, and I'm also lazy. But yeah, we just wanted to review the episode. Today's episode is Return of the Shirt from How I Met Your Mother Season 1. And
Just a brief summary. It's about Ted getting a new shirt. It's like, before I never used to like this shirt, and now he did. And like, what if it's a sign saying I should call up one of my other bimbos from like way back then? Because maybe it'll work out this time. So he makes a few phone calls and lands on Natalie. They date for a bit. I mean, it ended horribly, but then they hit it off again.
he remembers why it didn't work out.
Yeah, and now kind of it went more south than before.
I kind of found that really funny because, as you guys know, if you guys watch How I Met Your Mother, Ted's a very date to marry type of person, and when you watch the show and he's explaining this to his kids, you're kind of curious, like, if he was dating to marry, why did he date so many women?
Because he has the quote unquote one itis. Maybe this time it'll work out. I'm willing to settle down, all that stuff.
I just think he was looking for love in a lot of the wrong places. I mean, like I said to you before, because we were reviewing what we were gonna say. In McDonald's, we were just a lot of the times Ted was, looking for love in the wrong place, but also because I felt like he was just lonely and wanted to fill a void. A void that he couldn't get Robin in. So he's like,
that's what season 1 basically was like. Hey, I can't have you, so I'll try to settle for less of other people.
That's
girls.
Terrible, right?
Yeah.
And it's terrible because it's almost like he gives up on meeting new women in New York and just goes, how are my exes doing?
Maybe I should call her up. I remember one of them was she was like, oh yeah, as soon as I moved to New York, I was low on money, so I had to make adult films. So then he started choking. Like, how many did you make? Oh, like around 200 in a month. I'm like, oh. When I heard that, I was like, okay. I mean, she got the bank. I'll give her that.
Would you ever consider working things out with an older?
No. Maybe finish it.
It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a relationship per se.
Working things out with someone from my past?
Yeah. It could be oh, really?
I mean, dude, if it wasn't gonna work the first time, I don't think it's gonna work the second time. Unless you're able to fix each other or become a whole new person. Well, not new person, a whole better you. And them a whole better of themselves. If you're going back to that, your past self to the past girl, then it's not gonna work out. I remember my friend telling me it. I told her, it's not gonna work. She got her heart broken. I'll take my shots.
Well, it's just because I've seen a lot of TikToks and what's it called? Oh yeah, we dated in middle school or elementary, and then we broke up in in 2 years after high school, and then after a year we found ourselves and we came back together, and then now they're married and have kids.
I've heard a lot of stories like that.
There's a lot of failure, success stories. So you don't believe in those? You don't believe it can happen for you?
Yeah, chill.
Is that what you're saying? Or
Alright. Hold on. Okay, let me reword. Okay, so I don't believe it to a certain extent. Cause how I mentioned my point, changing.
From what I know to be true. No.
Yeah, no, but to a certain extent, unless you change and they change for the better, then yes, it can work out. There's this famous TikTok couple. Eileen and Devin.
Ooh, yo, yeah. Eileen and Devin are the greatest couple on planet Earth. And they're not even married yet.
Yeah, they're not, but they live with each other and everything. But
they need to get married ASAP, Devin. What are you doing, bro?
It's taking his time. They've been together for 7 years, but apparently before that they broke up. But they got back together.
See, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel at the same time, if you're meant to be,
it'll come back to you.
But at the same time, going back to the episode, I feel like it was like the theory that they always wanted to play into a factor of the whole show,
which is
like if it doesn't work out now, it could work out later on. You feel me? Like,
of course I feel you, bro.
like as a spoiler to the whole show of How I Met Your Mother, you guys know it doesn't work out with Robin by the end of like season 2 when they get together. But then around season 9, sorry, I keep thinking 10. Around season 9,
like finale.
Yeah, the
like,
finale.
Hey,
they end up,
I love you.
Yeah, they end up coming
Still.
back together, right?
Which is so stupid. But you know, that's for another time. That's for another time.
Whoa. You can have a whole debate about the
I know we
finale.
could, but we gotta focus on the episode. Yes. Yeah. Dating to marry, bro. A lot of people, they're not in that. They don't have that mindset.
I feel like even if you're in it, like especially in this generation, you feel the need to always be in a, like, I don't know. I feel like everyone. Okay, I can't say this for sure because I don't want to assume other people's like.
Cannot everyone say a small part of people, or maybe like that, a small majority.
From what I've seen to be true.
Okay, there you go. So you don't offend anyone.
From what I've seen to be true, a lot of people just like jump from relationship to relationship
and not really giving them time to like find themselves or change. Or
yeah, they haven't really like. I mean, again, like Ted to fill a void. Also, kind of like to see if they get it right this time, or like, oh, I feel a certain connection here.
Yeah.
Not exactly giving themselves the time to hone in on what they want and what they deserve.
Yeah.
I said Ted knows what he wants. He's just not waiting enough for what he deserves, or what, like he's not waiting for that certain connection. Which is why he always goes, like, I'm bored. There's nobody here. What am I gonna do? And then he goes and, goes back to an ex, or he like messes with girls that just really isn't his type.
Yeah.
And it's almost like to fill this exciting New York life of his.
But then I feel like he also might be doing it to kind of find what you want and need, you know? Because maybe you dated a girl, right? And you're like, oh, this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. You guys, break up, whatever. But then you realize, that's not what I wanted. Turns out I need this instead. So, maybe it's like trial and error, right? Because, I mean, he has like a long list of girls he's dated, right? Or even talked. And, like, Jeanette, toxic, super toxic relationship. But, later after that, like, that happened, he realized what he needed, right? And then Tracy came along and that filled it. So, and then even Victoria, connection, what he wanted, but then obviously things couldn't work out because she had to move and whatnot. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people, same thing. A lot of people are in your lives to give you a lesson or whatnot. So, what if the return of the Natalie was to prove that, okay, you're not ready for actually settling down for a woman. So, find what you really need, what you really want. Like, take time again, because sometimes he fails to, like, do that a lot. And, like, not appreciate or value himself as a person. What do you think about that?
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like the reason why Ted never really finds the one and always dates around is because he's in the middle of this whole group of people, right? Like his friends, and like they say, the 5 people that you're friends with influence who you are.
Yeah.
And so he has one friend who's a player, picks up girls every night, and then he has his 2 best friends who are in a loving relationship and have only been with together ever.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's like, he wants to get married, but at the same time, he also has this influence of, Ted, let's make every night legendary. Let's go help you. Let me wingman you. And it never gets to the point where it's like, oh, let's settle you down until the finale, like the final season, where now Barney wants to settle down. That's when his mind has a certain like switch and his life takes a turn.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the people that you set yourself up with. Like, if you set yourself apart from a bunch of your single friends that always want to mess around, then you hone in on what you want, then you never know, like, oh, wow, maybe I do want a relationship.
Yeah.
And then you end up hanging out with people that fit your goals and fit your needs. And then you become the person that you actually wanted to, because you've separated yourself from the pack. Now you're not trying to copy what you see.
Yeah.
And you're trying to be that own version of yourself. And you set yourself with the people that you kind of deserve.
No, I understand that point of view.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like just because of that whole group. Like, I understand that they're like the greatest friends.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this could play a
could,
factor into like why Ted never works a relationship with anybody.
I mean, yeah. Now I'm kind of like realizing that like Ted wants to be that kind of quote unquote player, but more of a relationship type.
Yeah.
So like, okay, you're on my Barney, just he has a full roster, like what 200 girls or something like that.
Yeah.
Ted is like, okay, I want her, but I want a relationship, and then just break up and then get another one, whatnot. And I can see how that influences it because you have one, Lily and Marshall deemed to be like true love and whatnot. Dated since like started college, and yeah, Barney a player. You mix those in, you get Ted.
Yeah,
which only now I just realized.
He's like caught in the middle and doesn't know what he wants. Like he knows what he wants to be. Like he.
Okay, but what about Robin? Because she's part of the friend group. What does she play a factor into Ted?
Robin plays this.
I know. It's like the quote unquote the one.
I like to think of Robin as like the wild card. Wild card meaning like you don't know what's gonna happen with her.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they added her as like this character. Like I feel like they just use her as okay, maybe we can have her influence this, and like they always change up her character. That's why she's so flexible, which makes her very interesting. So like we never thought, like I never thought at least, like Barney and Robin would end up together.
Yeah.
Obviously it made sense when they mentioned it in that one episode, but then they also proved why it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Because Ted's in the friend group. Robin's character to me is like, I don't know, I feel like she's misplaced. Like even if she's in the friend group, I don't feel like she ever finds a spot in this world.
You think like she's like independent? Okay, like she can jump from group to group, but really she's just like what TikTok like to call it, the popular loner.
Yeah, in a way, she's the popular. She always seems to know everybody and have a lot of connections or whatnot, but she never seems to actually like fit in or like at least love herself enough to fit in.
Yeah.
She loves herself in a certain way, I think, but not in the way that Ted does, or you know what I mean? Like she kind of feels always outside, like insecure.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like it ties into again, like the father part, kind of like wanting a dude, a guy. It's like she didn't really quite have that kind of love from him, so she kind of had to feel love for herself. Then kind of like felt all to herself. Like, oh yeah, I'm alone in this world.
Until she like is legitimately alone in the end, and
yeah,
I feel like again, like she separated from herself from the group, and she realized, oh, maybe I do want Ted, and I do want a relationship.
Yeah,
and then that's why that ends up happening in the end. I don't know, just the whole. It's a weird way how the show works.
Structured.
It not weird, but like it's fascinating for me that they structure it in a way that makes you understand life more better than any other show could, for me at least. Other shows make it very complicated. This one simplifies it in a way that's like, here's what we're trying to tell you. Yeah. But like read between the lines and you fully understand more about it. Especially if you actually go ahead and experience life for yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like in how I Met Your Mother universe, it's more like, this is life, so you're not gonna get what you want. You're not gonna get what you need, and you have to make use of it and find out what it means. So all the relationships Ted has been, many times maybe some of them could have been like perfect. He just didn't know how to make them fit him. You know what I mean? It's like a puzzle.
I don't think they just didn't fit him. Going back to what I was saying before the SD card got full, How I Met Your Mother, I feel like is a show about like not what you want, but what reality will give you, what life will give you. Yeah. Just like as an example, the ending. Like everyone wanted that happy ending for him and Tracy, and then, she unfortunately dies, and then Robin comes back. I saw this one picture that kind of explains the ending, but it's not a picture that is dedicated to ending. So it's it's this art piece about love and timing.
Oh yeah, I know this one.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's clocks.
I did a project on it before.
It was clocks. It was beautiful. So they would run at the same time, start at the same time, but then at some point one clock slows down, and then the other one keeps going. And then the story about it was like about, I think, husband and wife, and how I think the wife got cancer.
She got sick.
She got sick.
Yeah.
And then she passed away.
Yeah, and then her clock stopped ticking, but his kept going, but just a little slower.
Yeah. So in a way, I like to think of it as, like, ready for this? The clocks are almost like your roads and your paths in life.
Mm-hmm.
Your paths will cross, but then at a certain time, like, you'll move away from each other, like the time slowing down. And so Ted and Robin were synced up. They crossed paths.
Yeah.
But then at a certain time, they weren't right for each other anymore. So then Robin went a different way, and Ted went a different way. And then Ted hit Tracy, finally the mother, and they were on the perfect wavelength. They were like en route.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it's almost like she kind of tripped over, and she was gone, right? And so, and then down
go on,
the line,
go on.
further down the road, him and Robin cross paths again. I didn't mean to make a joke about the ending. I'm so sorry, but like that's just like how I view it. It's like it wasn't right now, but like like they said in one of the episodes at the finale, it's like, guys, don't think of this as a failed like marriage. Think of this as a very successful one.
Yeah, that just how it happened the last 2 years.
Exactly, and so that's kind of like Ted and Tracy, and then the next story. The next story. But yeah. I don't know.
Dude, you gotta say trip, but yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean. So that's why it's like, yo, that's why it's some people are just meant to cross your paths once. It's like all of Ted's bimbos.
But the odds of them coming back is
slim.
If there are red flags, like we said.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Oh, we didn't talk about that? Okay, so obviously in the episode, if you watch Return of the Shirt, we're going back to it. Sorry, we lost track a lot. Return of the Shirt, he meets back with Natalie, but then obviously he remembers why they broke up in the first place.
Yeah.
Which By the way, the worst breakup ever.
Yeah, it's like, hey. It was on her birthday twice. He broke up on her birthday twice. Not once. Yeah. Twice, bro. But yeah, red flags, bro. It's like, he was also giving her red flags technically.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But we just don't see that aspect. But with the exes he was calling, like, yeah, okay, he didn't like that she did adult films. Another one was too crazy. Another one killed.
Did Natalie do adult films?
Huh? No, it was a different. It was the one before that. It was calling.
Okay.
There is another one that was like, oh, she killed someone, something like that. But yeah.
And he didn't remember. The red flags for Natalie.
Yeah.
I feel like to a certain extent, like the idea of like, I didn't like this shirt before, but now I do.
Yeah.
It could, like, that would work, but not in terms of like
relationships.
No, it would work in a relationship. Okay. I just don't think it would work like if I've already dated this person, didn't work out, and I could, go back to it and see if it works now. Not in that aspect. I was thinking of more like, oh, like this person is a really good friend to me. I don't see a relationship down the line. But then later on in the future, you go, wait a minute, I'm seeing this person in a whole different light. Like the show I'm watching right now, Smallville. Yo, because like him and Lois, they hated each other.
Yeah.
But obviously, they end up together. So you're like, what's going on? And so then, like, now it works. So I don't know.
Yeah. But let's stick to the How I Met Your Mother universe,
Yeah. I'm just,
But yeah, bro. Red flags, like,
crossovers.
You really do have to watch for red flags. But also, one thing people don't consider enough are green flags. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, yeah. You mean green lights? Anyways, go.
Green light, whatever, man. Same thing, same concept.
Okay, go on.
Okay, yeah, red flags, bro. Like, this dude's laughing instead. I want to slap him. But yeah, okay, red flags, yo. That's like really essential. Because I can relate to it. Like, don't brush off red flags. I did that.
Yeah.
I
Don't worry, I have my fair share of
yeah. Anyways. So yeah, red flags, like, dude, I brushed it off because I was quote unquote blindly in love. I'm really seeing more the optimistic side, waiting it out and whatnot. And I feel like that's what Ted did, brushed it off, but then realized like, yeah, that's not what I wanted. I didn't realize that. But yeah, it's like if you don't see the amount of red flags that the person has, that's really gonna like torment you in the end.
I always say, like, if you don't look at the red flags yourself, you're just disrespecting yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you want, you know what you deserve. If you go ahead and don't listen to you don't look at the red flags enough, you're gonna like completely go to I want this versus what I deserve.
Yeah.
It's almost like pleasure versus I don't know what the word is.
I forgot the phrase.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, do I really want this, or is it like what I deserve? And so like I said, he really was just trying to fill a void. You know, I feel like distract himself from like everything that was going on. I've been there in terms of like, oh, like I thought like I wanted what was going on with a certain person, and then at the same time like everyone was telling me that's not for you, right? Like they didn't say that exact words, but they were saying it in a more friendlier way, and that's what I feel like his friends were trying to do. But then, you know, like he didn't listen to them, and then that's when it ended up biting him in the ass.
Yeah, and you know, getting hit in the face and
getting beat up. Actually kicked in the ass.
Yeah. that was a good ending. That was a good ending to it.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, dude, like, but also sometimes you might be the red flag. You know, same thing. Like, you might be the toxic person. I remember reading that a lot. Like it was on TikTok and like Instagram. Like, read that again. You might be the toxic one. I'm like, oh, that's true. You never know. You have to like really evaluate yourself. Like Ted was kind of toxic.
No, Ted was definitely toxic in terms of, especially that episode. I didn't like that.
That Ted.
It was interesting to watch, but it wasn't like the Ted like we knew.
Because it feels like the world revolves around us. Because we can't see other people's insights or know about it until they voice it out.
That's like a thing that we always talk about with like together. We go like, you need to be very self-aware about like who you are and what you're capable of, and your actual importance to other people. Because next thing you know, you see yourself as the star of your own movie, but then you forget that other people have certain lives and feelings that you're not acknowledging at the moment. And so, like for example, Ted, he kind of just saw Natalie as like another chance for him. He didn't even see that, wow, like I hurt this girl, like I don't want to do this again, and really messed her up this time. Like this one was really bad, and he was the toxic one in this one actually.
And like and she also said you mean the best gift ever. She's like, what? To trust again.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah.
Yo, if you think you're ready for a relationship, rethink it.
Reevaluate yourself.
Reevaluate like constantly to make sure.
Always make sure that you are like self-improving on any flaws that you can see in yourself. Because if you don't like work on the flaws that you know within yourself, they're gonna be exposed later on in the relationship, right? At least be working on them, right? Because then when you get into those relationships, like you're gonna mess up the relationship for them.
Like, that's the point of breakups, bro. You break up because something wasn't working, then your turn to fix whatever didn't work and apply it to your new relationships.
Don't jump into a new one. You know what they say, bro. The first one to jump into a relationship after breaking up was never loyal in the first place.
That's true.
Anyways, that's all we have for today for Return of the Shirt.
Sorry if it was like kind of all over the place.
But I hope you enjoyed more of the like How I Met Your Mother talks, because like we never really decided to go over like the whole show in itself because we feel like spoilers, but we really wanted to dive into everything so that it makes sense for us now. This is more for real fans of How I Met Your Mother and like really want to dive into like breaking everything down and all that stuff. So make sure you guys listen to our Spotify, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is all the time we have today. It's been your host, Dom.
And Ken.
And that's been it. Peace out.